doesn't make sense for you to compete against. Calm down, we to a brother who knows. But the calm down, we to a brother who knows. But the calm down, we to a brother who knows. But it doesn't make sense for you to compete against. Calm down, we to.
Brothers and sisters! Brothers and sisters! I don't know what this world is coming to!
Once again, it's on. It's your man H-Rap coming at you live and direct as I do every 168 hours. It's the End of the Bench podcast. Man, oh man, oh man. I got a whole lot on my plate this afternoon. It's going to be an interesting conversation that we're going to have today. I got a whole bunch of questions. I got questions from the NCAA, the NBA, the HOF. I got a little bit of everything this afternoon, man. We're going to talk a little Hall of Fame, both Major League and NFL. We're going to talk about the goings on in Golden State. I'm going to question Kevin Durant. I got a lot of questions for Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is a cold-blooded athlete. He's a sniper. He's a lot of things. But is he a number one? And I'm only going about what he's saying. He's saying that he just want to be in a comfortable situation where he can go out and play basketball. Those are not the words of a number one. We're going to talk about what's going on in the NBA in regards to these records. Did we overlook some teams? Did we underestimate some teams? We're going to talk about a lot of things, man. We're going to talk about this whole situation in Boston. They aren't able to get their things together. Is Brad Stevenson the coach that we thought he was? That is the biggest question. Is Brad Stevens who we thought he was? That's my number one question this week. And then I'm going to pick a fight with you guys. And the reason I'm going to pick a fight with you, I'm going to challenge you. We're not just going to go with status quo anymore. I'm not going to allow people to just say, this guy is great. He's great because. And you read the stats to me because I know everybody got Google. You walk around with a computer in your pocket, so I know you know the stats. But I keep hearing one person is the greatest of all time. And then I hear about this other person. And he's not mentioned in the conversation with greatest of all time. He's only mentioned in the conversation. It's always an asterisk behind his greatness. It's a caveat. Hey man, he's great, but. Hey man, she's great, but. And I'm trying to understand why there's one player who had an advantage get the nod over another player who actually, for all intents and purposes, had a greater advantage. So we're going to talk about that. And it's just an interesting situation to me, you know. When you talk about greatness, it's, you know, in order to be great, you must have great teammates. There are very few people who are in a situation, in a team sport environment, who will be considered all-time great that didn't have all-time great teammates. At least one, two, and in most cases, at least three. A minimum of one, and usually around 2 to 3. So let's talk about that whole situation. I'm going to bring that up as the show proceeds, because I want a lot of people in the chat room as I discuss this. And first and foremost, shout out to the brothers from the National Football League and the Major League Baseball Players Association that got nominated for their respective Hall of Fames. You got the finalist list going out this week. I want to give them a big salute. What's up? Now that I've given them a salute, I want to name some of these people, and we're going to see where they fall. You know, a little later we're going to name those people. We're going to see where they fall in the grand scheme of things. But let's start off at basketball. The Los Angeles Lakers are one of the most storied franchises in National Basketball Association history. Most teams have won maybe 1 to 4 big name stars in their past. And then they may have an all-time great. Maybe they'll have an all-time great on their roster in regards to their team. You know, like the Milwaukee Bucks, Bob Lanier, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And then you got a myriad of all-stars. The Knicks, Earl Monroe, Walt Frazier, Willis Reed. Then you got a bunch of all-stars. Patrick Ewing, then you got a bunch of all-stars. Chicago Bulls, you got Rose, you got Jordan, you got Pippen, then a bunch of all-stars. And the list goes on and on and on. But when you have a franchise like the Los Angeles Lakers, when you got George Mikan, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Wilt Chamberlain, Magic Johnson, Jerry West, Gail Goodrich, and the list goes on and on and on for other people, the all-time greats that played with the Lakers. There's a certain standard. Now you have one LeBron James. So there's a certain standard that has been set in regards to the Lakers. And when you have that specific standard there, you put yourself in a situation whereas you cannot, mediocrity or the ability to take your time and develop isn't available to Los Angeles Lakers coach, Boston Celtic coach. Going forward to San Antonio, the person who replaces Pop, he's going to have to win almost immediately. When you have a Nick Saban, when you have anybody at Notre Dame and so forth and so on, those coaches don't get the grace period that in a normal situation that it will come naturally. You just don't get that. You don't have the ability to do that. So when you don't have the ability to do that, everything is coming into question. One of the big questions immediately is a young man by the name of Alonzo Ball. Alonzo Ball is a young brother whose father steam-headed a campaign that got him put, in my opinion, at the top of the draft lottery. Now, if you look at Alonzo Ball, if you know basketball, you can see that this brother can play. There's no question that Alonzo Ball can play basketball. There's no question there's something special about Magic Johnson, seeing something special in him. According to LeBron James, he sees something special in him. And most people who know basketball, they say it's something about this dude. Now, the reason I personally feel that there is something special about him, because even though they are not gaudy numbers, you talking about a dude who blocking shots. Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up? What's up, Tiff? Welcome aboard. Thank you for being a bench warmer. When you look at this kid, I'm talking about Alonzo Ball. I'm actually, the name of the show this week is called Questions. Mo, what's up, man? And these are the questions that I'm asking about the goings on in sports today. I'm talking about Alonzo Ball. He's the first question I have. When you look at him and look at the entire situation, I think even though he's not putting up big time numbers, I think he has big time game. And I think he gets downgraded a bit simply because the mayor of Maine, simply because his father put so much hype behind him. Now, I'm not going to go as far as to talk that nonsense about he's better than Steph Curry, he's the next Michael Jordan and all that. I'm not going to be foolish about it. But what I am going to do is say I do believe this dude does have the capabilities of being an all-time great. On the surface, you look at his numbers, you talking about 10, 7, and 7. That's a difficult stat line. If you look at them on the surface, you're going 10, 7, and 7 ain't nothing. But it's 10 points. That's the easiest part about that. Alonzo Ball defends on ball well. He's not like an all-defensive player, but he's a very good on-ball defender. He blocks shots. He rebounds the ball better than average. Let's not forget the dude who we consider the best player in the league averages 7 and 7 himself. Now, Lonzo is even more of a facilitator than LeBron James. So, this brings me to the ultimate question when you talk about the Lakers. Is Luke Walton the guy to handle this dude? That's the thing that I'm worried about. Is Luke Walton the guy? Because what it is, I'm looking at it. Sneaky good. Yes, he is sneaky good on defense, Mo. People overlook. Happy holidays to you too, brother. He's no Damian Lillard. It depends on what you're looking for. Damian Lillard is appropriate for what the Portland Trailblazers need. We're going to talk about the Portland Trailblazers a little later too. But you can be great in different ways. Jason Kidd was great, but he was no Isaiah Thomas. He was no Gary Payton. But he was still an absolutely great ball player. So, is he a scorer like Dame Lillard? No, he's not. But the question is Luke Walton putting him in the most advantageous situation? This dude is he is a poor man's Magic Johnson. And anytime you can be mentioned in the same sentence as Magic Johnson, I think it's a good thing. I think we've lost perspective in regards to basketball. Is he a floor? Yes, I do. But see, we've got to see, okay, what makes him not a floor general? Because last time I checked, a floor general is a dude who put people in position to score with ease, put you in a situation to whereas your abilities will be highlighted. Not a dude who runs up and down this court like Russell Westbrook or a guy like that. He's not an Andre Miller. I'm being biased. No, I'm not being biased because I'm not a Lonzo Ball fan. See, I would only be biased if I was a fan. I'm just looking at what the dude brings to the table. It's a bunch of dudes in the league that run up and down the court and take ill-advised shots. And they don't get anybody involved. But they are potentially the shortest dude on the court or the most explosive dude on the court, so they hold the title point guard. But they're not really point guards. Andre Miller was a dog, but the thing is, we're talking about a dude who, Andre Miller was a dude who was put in a great situation. When you playing with Utah and when you playing with Denver under the what's the dude named George Karl, you're allowed to do what you do best because that's along the lines of a Dean Smith situation. Alonzo Ball, I don't think he's being put in the best situation. I don't think Luke Walton is the best coach for the situation. I think when you have a talent like an Alonzo Ball, I think he will be better suited being coached by a Nate McMillan, a Jason Kidd, a Mark Jackson, or someone along those lines, because when you have the ability to identify what this young man does well, you'll put him in a situation. Larry Brown will be another great situation for him because I don't think he's being utilized. When you, like I said, when you can put up 10, 7, and 7, that's nothing to sneeze at because we get too caught. You know what? Like what's the kid in Memphis? Conley Jr. wouldn't do what he does in this system. This dude is trying to replicate the Golden State Warriors program, but you need that Golden State Warriors arsenal. You can't just say, I'm going to be like the Golden State Warriors. I'm going to run those Golden State Warriors plan, that playbook, if you don't have the Willies and the Joes to execute those X's and O's. And that's where I think Alonzo Ball falls short. Not to mention, most of these young boys don't know how to play basketball. And if you're learning on the job, it's not going to be advantageous to you to be in a system that's not suited for you. I doubt if Alonzo Ball knows how to run a pick and roll or defend a pick and roll. I think he knows how to play his game. And when you take him out of his game, he stands on the sideline. And you can see that regularly when you watch